Janice, would you call the roll, please, and certify a quorum?
Yes, sir. Town of Ashland, Miss Amos. We do have Miss Amos with us. I think she is just in the process of coming over as a panelist. I'm going to mark her as present. Charles City County, Miss Adams,
Gary Mitchell. She'll be
Mr.
here.
Mitchell. Chesterfield County, Miss Smith, Mr. Banuelos.
Yeah, I'm filling in for Bart.
Goochland County, Mr. Goyne, Mr. Coleman. Hanover County, Chair Vadunez,
Here.
Mr. Hardman. Henrico County, Miss Smidler, Mr. Yor. New Kent County, Miss Enman,
Present. Here.
Miss Leduc. Powhatan County, Mr. Shardine. City of Richmond, Miss Clark. We do have Miss Clark. I'll mark her present as well. Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Rutledge. DRPT, Miss Dubinsky. Mr. Wagner. GRTC, Miss Robinson.
Here. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Plan RVA, Mr. Bushing.
Here.
Mr. Ariel.
Present.
Miss, let's see, RMTA, Miss Simmons. VDOT, Miss Rhodes.
Here, good morning.
Good morning. Miss Mueller. And Ride Finders, Mr. O'Keefe.
Here.
That concludes the roll call for attendance. We do have a quorum, and I believe I'm going to switch back over. I believe we have some others that may have just come in.
Okay, very well. Moving right along to item number 3. Are there any amendments to the meeting agenda? Okay.
None from staff.
Okay, fine. Hearing none. Item 4, approval of the May 14th meeting minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those. We'll need a motion and second if there are no changes.
Is John O'Keefe? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a second?
This is Patricia Robinson. I'll second.
Thank you. This can be done by voice vote. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Any oppose or any abstentions? Okay. Again, moving right along, item 5 is opportunity for the public to speak. Do we have anybody in the queue wishing to speak from the public?
No, we don't have anyone who's requested. Very
well. Item 6, Chairman's report. I don't have anything to report at this time. So we'll hop right into the meat of the agenda. And Miles, get us started, please. Item 7.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this first item is a request for additional TAP funding on a project in Chesterfield County. A little bit of background, this project is a section of the fall line on Route 1 between Gettings and Dwight. This was funded with TAP funds before the fall line existed. So most of the costs that we're seeing on this deficit is attributable to transitioning the project to being a portion of the fall line. This request is obviously coming off cycle, but it is because we're getting ready to start construction. And as you all know, we do allow for requests to come off cycle when we're getting into the construction phase. This is a quick visual to show kind of what the changes were. So the original concept, again, before A to P was completed, was a sidewalk project with bike accommodations through the wide lane on the outside of Route 1. The right-hand side of the screen shows the 60% design plans, and that is basically showing it's the fall line, so it's the shared use path concept. The cost increase is largely attributable to this change to accommodate the fall line through this section of Route 1. So the request today is for $184,192 in TAP funds. We have confirmed with VDOT that there is sufficient funding in a reserve or in the balance entry to be able to cover this. Essentially, the county already has 208,000 in local money on it. A portion of that is the match for the previously awarded TAP. But there's over $90,000 that is just local funding on the project currently. A portion of that money would then be moved over and used as the match if we award this additional TAP funding. So everything would line up with the match, and then the county would still have additional local money on the project. So the request from the TAC today is to review this project and the funding request, and to recommend approval of the additional TAP funding award. Since this is more than a 10% increase, this would have to go to the policy board for final approval. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
So any questions, comments regarding this? If not, we'll need a motion and a second.
I move to approve, Gary Mitchell.
Dirana, second.
Terrific. And this, let's just do a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Miss Amos,
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos,
Aye.
Chair Vadunez,
Aye.
Miss Smidler,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
Miss Clark,
Aye.
Miss Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Bushing,
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
and Miss Rhodes.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Item 8. This is a TIP amendment. Mr. and Miss Heller, I'm thrown, I have to admit.
You are totally fine. I will
I'm
absolutely take
sorry.
that.
I see you right there. I was looking down. Okay,
No
thank you.
worries.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Give me just 1 second to share my screen.
I'm so accustomed to Miles just hitting every single item, so thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, trying to share a little bit of that burden with him. All
Excellent.
right, so thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, all. So this TIP amendment that we're bringing you today is to add a project providing multimodal improvements on South Laburnum Avenue over I-64 to the TIP. So a little bit of background. This amendment is being requested by Henrico County, and this project requires the TIP be amended due to this being a new project with new funds being added. So Henrico County was awarded $6,300,000 through the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods program in fiscal year 23. So the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhood program is a newer program, and it comes from combining two different major discretionary grants. So we had the Reconnecting Communities pilot and the Neighborhood Access and Equity program. Those were put together and became the RCN. So the RCN provides funding for projects that help reconnect neighborhoods and communities that were fractured through transportation planning and infrastructure policies from the past. The multimodal improvements on South Laburnum Avenue are going to take place from Thornhurst Street to Gay Avenue and will provide improved facilities for bike and pedestrian safety, as well as better access to areas of interest south of I-64. So today's requested action. With this being a new project, this TIP block is sort of just a starting point for getting the project into the TIP. The total cost of the project is expected to be a little over $12,600,000, and there's around $1,700,000 for the PE phase that's already been allocated in FY24. The remaining balance will be funded through local funding. And so today, our request is we are asking the TAC to recommend approval of the TIP amendment to the policy board. And if anyone has any questions, I would be happy to take them.
Excellent summary. Thank you for that, Ainsley. And any questions or comments regarding this request? If there are none, we'll need a motion in a second, please.
Aaron Smidler, I'd like to make a motion
sorry, I was reading from the screen.
Oh,
to
I'm sorry.
approve the, adding this to the tip, the South Laburnum multimodal improvements over I-64.
Second, please. I'll second
Amy
that.
Inman, I'll second.
Okay,
Okay.
Amy.
I'll second. I'll be happy to second. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, let's do a voice vote again. Excuse me, a roll call vote again, please.
Miss Amos,
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos,
Aye.
Chair Vadunez,
Aye.
Miss Smidler,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
Miss Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Bushing,
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
Miss Rhodes.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
All right.
Mr.
Carrie
Chair,
is,
Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
didn't hear my name called.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Miss Clark.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. These next two items, Carrie Ramos will take these, another tip amendment in Henrico and one in affecting GRTC.
Hi, thank you. I'm Carrie. I'm here to talk to you all about the Henrico County Community Charging Network funded by the Community Fueling Infrastructure Grant. So just a little bit of background, Henrico County is proposing to include the Community Charging Network project in the TIP, requiring amendments and procedural steps for fiscal constraint conformity review, public review, and RRTPO approval. Henrico County secured a $1.4 million grant to establish an electric charging network advancing sustainable transportation infrastructure. Henrico County selected the EV charging station sites based on population density, traffic flow, accessibility, and potential for future expansion and demand. The total is about 1.8 million. The PE phase is about 3.6 million, and the construction phase is about 1.4 million. We are requesting that the TAC recommend approval. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let me know.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see, I saw there was a comment in the chat. I think that was Sarah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take action on this. I would like to say something about these last two items before we move on to item 10.
Oh, very well. Okay, so before we do that, are there any questions for Carrie regarding this before we vote on it? Okay, very well. So again, we'll need a motion in a second.
Sharon Smidler, with Henrico. I make a motion to recommend approval of the proposed TIP amendment.
Okay. I'll second. Is there any further discussion before we have a roll call vote? Okay, seeing none. Janice, if you call roll, please.
Yes, sir. Miss Amos,
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos,
Aye.
Chair Vadunez,
Aye.
Miss Smidler,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
Miss Clark,
Aye.
Miss Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Bushing,
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
Miss Rhodes.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries as well.
Okay, Sarah, you may address the committee.
Yes, sure. Thanks, Joe. What we just approved in the TIP are direct recipient grants, federal grants. With Bill and IIJA, there's a lot more of these sort of what I'm calling niche funding opportunities, and where the funding goes directly to the recipient. So in this case, the federal funding is going directly through Henrico. VDOT does not serve as a pass-through agent for the funding. And so this is one of the first of these, but I suspect we'll have many, many more where in order to get these projects and get this funding available for the projects and get them under federal agreement, they have to be in the TIP. And to go through, to be in the TIP, they have to go through this process. And it's pretty familiar to all you. Almost all projects go through this process, but many projects can be grouped. The direct recipient request funding by virtue of the process and how the funding, the federal agreement, you need to demonstrate that the project is in the TIP for the federal agreement. All of these at present will need to go through the TIP through this process. So they'll all need to go to the board. As you guys are applying for these programs and getting more and more of this funding, please keep VDOT in the loop so we can be aware and make sure that your projects get in the TIP, work with Miles, get in the TIP, because in order to get in the TIP, they do need to be put into the VDOT project pool. So there's a lot of information about this. We have internal memos, many internal memos about this. But as you guys are seeking out more funding and broader funding opportunities, please be aware of that process because it does take some time. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Sarah. And I would just say tip of the cap to Henrico County for finding these, I like that term, the niche funding opportunities. So maybe you can share some of that, Sharon, with us, with the group at some later point in time, so that we can also consider taking advantage of some of these opportunities as well. So, but anyway, thank you. We'll move right along. Carrie, you have the next item, which is another TIP amendment. This one applies to GRTC.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Now I'm going to talk to you about a new project brought to us by GRTC. It is the maintenance and admin facility expansion. GRTC seeks to add the maintenance and facility admin expansion to the project to the TIP. This estimate changes needs an amendment with fiscal conformity reviews and public approval. GRTC acquired 325 East Belt Boulevard. They are currently undergoing an environmental assessment, remediation planning, and demolition. They support the Connect RVA 2024-2045 projects operating within a former ozone maintenance area. However, they are exempt from these regulations. The funding is about $1.2 million overall. Federal FTA funding coming from the 55307 is about $952,152. Local funding is about $238,048. We are requesting that the TAC recommends approval to the proposed TIP amendment as requested by GRTC.
Okay. Questions or comments? If not, again, we'll need a motion and second.
Move to approve. Gary.
Yes,
I'll second, Amy.
great. Any further discussion? Janice, please call a roll vote.
Miss Amos? Mr. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos?
Aye.
Chair Vadunez?
Aye.
Miss Smidler?
Aye.
Miss Inman?
Aye.
Miss Clark?
Aye.
Miss Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Bushing?
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe?
Aye.
And Miss Rhodes?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Okay,
Joe.
thank you.
Joe, I did have a quick question, and Carrie, you may not have the answer to this, and it's more of a curious question than anything else, but the memo provided in the packet says the current condition of the project poses a potential public safety risk and public health risk to both GRTC staff and the surrounding community. Can you provide additional insight into that? If not, you can follow up.
I personally do not have additional information on that, but I can look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah, I can add just real quick if that's okay. There is mold in the current building. So that is part of the safety risk, is it's fairly falling apart and safe to be under that construction and that roof and with the
Okay.
addition of the mold as well.
Okay, so there's an existing property and there's mold on the property. Got it. Thank you.
Right. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Miles, you're up next.
Thanks again, Mr. Chairman. So these last two items I have for you today are both Smart Scale Round 6 related. This first one is the local and agency project endorsements. So as you all are already aware, the MPO is required to endorse any projects that are in on corridors of statewide significance or projects that are not in or consistent with Connect RVA 2045. As you already know, for the past two rounds, we've taken the approach of just endorsing everything to make sure we don't run into any issues. So just going through all the projects and making sure they're consistent with our planning and providing a resolution of endorsement. So staff has gone through all the pre-applications across the region and reviewed them against our Connect RVA 2045 inclusion guidelines, which is this little flow chart that we show you all the time. Basically, if a project is regional, it needs to be in the constrained plan. If it's not regional, if it's considered local or programmatic, it's always eligible to advance for funding. Through our review, we found that all but one of the projects was either local and programmatic or regional and advancing one of the projects that's already in the constrained plan. That one remaining project that was not in there is an interchange modification project that came out of the pipeline studies. So that comes after we'd already completed the LRTP. So it's a new study since we completed Connect RVA 2045. So including and endorsing that project is just a commitment that if needed down the road, we would amend the LRTP should this project receive funding. So the requested action today is for the TAC to review and recommend endorsement of all of the Smart Scale pre-applications from localities, Plan RVA, and GRTC. And again, this is all of your pre-apps. So even if these ones aren't necessarily advancing, we're covering it to give you the maximum flexibility in choosing which projects to submit for the full application. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Miles, first, what was that project the one project that didn't?
Yeah, the one interchange modification is I-64 and 360. That's City of Richmond and Henrico, right at the city-county line. That project, we actually did the same process last round of Smart Scale as well. And it's just because that came out of the pipeline study that was just completed 2 years ago after we'd already developed the LRTP.
Got it. Okay. Any questions?
Good question.
Amy.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Miles, can we just wordsmith some of the language? In ours, there's some items that are mentioned on there that won't be part of our DDI project.
Sure. So the language that was in there was taken from whatever was in your pre-application. So
Right.
The final list and the resolution that the board will actually approve is just going to have the project name and the project ID. This was just the informational background for the TAC based on what was in those pre-apps.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll need a motion second.
Mr. Chairman, I'm making a motion to approve the Smart Scale resolutions as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Janice, please call the roll.
Miss Amos,
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos,
Aye.
Chair Vadunez,
Aye.
Miss Smidler,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
Miss Clark, Miss
Sorry,
Clark,
aye.
thank you. Miss Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Bushing,
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
and Miss Rhodes.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Miles, continue,
All
please.
right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the final item we have for you today. This is a long agenda. This is for the MPO's applications for Smart Scale Round 6. So if you recall back in, I think it was February, we approved a list of 10 pre-applications. From those pre-applications, ultimately, one was withdrawn by the local sponsor, and another was deemed to not be eligible for high priority projects. So we did not advance that one into a pre-app. So we have 8 pre-applications that went through the screening process. We have obviously gone through this consistency review. All these projects have gone through the pre-application process and are conditionally screened out, so they are all able to move forward with full applications. So the pre-applications that we have, you've seen this list before, is I-95 Route 10 Phase 2 in Chesterfield, Huguenot Road congestion and safety improvement in Chesterfield, Route 360 widening in Chesterfield, Gaskins Road interchange 2 sections in Henrico, the Short Pump Area Improvements Project, which is a series of projects that go along with the North Gayton Road interchange, Walmsley Boulevard Bridge and Extension in the city, and Belt Boulevard BRT Streetscape Project in the city of Richmond. So those are the 8 final pre-applications that we have that have all been screened and able to move forward. So the request today is just for the TAC to recommend that the policy board approve these as our final set of full applications. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
Karen Smidler, I make a motion for approval of the remaining 8 RRTPO applications as full applications.
Tyrone, second.
Any further discussion? Okay. Janice, one last time, please.
Yes, sir. Miss Amos,
Aye.
Mr. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Banuelos,
Aye.
Chair Vadunez,
Aye.
Miss Smidler,
Aye.
Miss Inman,
Aye.
Miss Clark,
Aye.
Miss Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Bushing,
Aye.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
Miss Rhodes.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Okay, now it's we're on to our agency update, starting with DRPT. Do we have somebody from DRPT here?
We do not have a DRPT rep present today.
Okay. And next would be GRTC. I'm always confused. Is it Corey or Patricia that's going to give the update?
We have
That'd be
Miss
me.
Robinson today.
No, that'll be me. Corey Robinson.
Okay, great.
Oh,
All right, I can get that started. In the month of May, GRTC continued to staff up and prepare for upcoming service changes at the end of June, adding some new operators in both fixed route service and microtransit, and announcing a new grants administrator, Leah Harris, and a new chief operating officer, Kevin Hernandez. The new COO, Kevin Hernandez, joins GRTC from Prince George's County, and has previously worked in transit in Virginia as director of operations at Dash. GRTC's recent successes were also discussed with a national audience last month, with the agency appearing in the New York Times as an example of how investing in operators, increasing service frequency and coverage, and providing free fares has been deeply successful in expanding our ridership base and serving more people. Speaking of more, new riders, the Powhatan Link Zone officially joined the other 3 carrying revenue passengers after the early May launch event, and a boosted marketing effort brought more attention to the new service, and GRTC continues to work diligently towards the launch of the final pilot microtransit zone in Sandston/Elko, and that'll be launching later this month. Other upcoming service changes include the extension of the GRTC Route 1 north to Reynolds Community College on Parham Road, and the rerouting of the 1A to better service the Johnson Wales Hospital, and the addition of one more late night trip from the airport to the Pulse on the 7A and 7B to serve late night passengers and airport employees. All of those changes will go into effect June 30th with our next booking change. And that wraps up our update on the GRTC side.
Perfect. John, can you give us the Ride Finders update? John, yeah, there's.
Yes, sir. Thank you. For the month of June, Ride Finders participated in biking events and bike to school events at Westover Hills Elementary School in the city of Richmond. And we also participated in a walk and bike to school event at Cool Springs Elementary School in Hanover County, as well as the Belle Meade Community Bike Shop grand reopening. We attended benefits fairs for the Department of Human Resource Management and the Virginia Retirement Systems. We've met with GRTC's finance department representatives to discuss the Ride Finders FY25 projected budget preparation assistance and forecasting for data. And we've also, as Corey had mentioned, we've assisted GRTC with outreach for microtransit service in Powhatan County. I'm also happy to report that last month, Ride Finders won 4 awards. One was from the Public Relations Society of America. It was an award of excellence for the Capital Award that recognizes outstanding public relation tactics in the social media. And another one from the PRSA was an award of merit for the Commonwealth Award, which recognizes exceptional public relation programs or campaigns. And the other 2 awards we received were both from the Virginia Transit Association. We won the Outstanding Transit Marketing Award for TDM for the Be the CEO of Your Commute and Vanpool campaign. And John O'Keefe was recognized with the Unsung Hero Award for TDM. And with that, that's all I have to report, and be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Well, congratulations on all the awards, and especially the one that you received, John.
Thank you, Jeff.
Much deserved. And Sarah, you're hitting cleanup.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Ride Finders must have like the largest trophy case. It's very impressive, John. Okay, a few updates coming from VDOT this month. Next week is the CTB meeting. They'll be taking action on the 2025 SYIP. So that'll be finalized. The Fall Line Trail Design Build 2, there will be a design public hearing scheduled June 18th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the VDOT offices, the Richmond district offices, I should say. And then for I-64 segment B, the RFP is scheduled to be put on the street this month. We have another public hearing, Route 623 Hockett Road intersection improvement. The project, Goochland County project, is scheduled for today at 5:30. And then just do a quick smart scale rundown. We have 71 applications advancing, and 69 are conditionally screened out. So don't overthink the conditionally screened out. Many of the issues just need to be correction to feature descriptions. Most of the issues are relatively minor. Please have the feature description dynamics fixed, cleaned up in your application by June 21st. I believe that was stated in the training last week. That would be a big help to us as we start to finalize Gate 3 readiness. Other deadlines, July 15th is for all readiness required documentation needs to be included in the application. For the most part, we have most of the major documentation, but things like the crosswalk form and the any design waiver documentation, please make sure that's included with your application. Just other dates to keep in mind, August 1st, every application must include its governing body resolution of support by August 1st. And then all MPO resolutions must be provided back to the Smart Scale POC by September 1st. You guys are ahead of the game, well ahead of the game, so you'll be able to put your resolution in your applications. And that's everything for me on Smart Scale. If you have any questions about Smart Scale, any issues, many of you have already done so, but please feel free to reach out to your POC. We're here to help as you guys finalize your full apps. And that's it. Thank you.
Don't have a Smart Scale question or comment, but I'm hearing rumors that VDOT central office might be relocating.
Yes, that's not so much a rumor as a fact. Yes, by 2025, summer of 2025, a good portion of the teams in the what we call the annex will be moving to a building just I think in Hanover County near Atlee. So I don't know much more other than the commissioner's announcement, but yes, that's happening in the not too distant future.
So is the annex, which one is will the high rise be emptied?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, interesting. Yes, that's the former Media General location in Hanover off of 301. So we're excited. We're excited for that.
Yeah, it did not escape me that it's right near the pipeline project. So
well, I mentioned something to Philip Fraser, who is the assistant resident engineer over here, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that would be great. We'll now have 1,000 pairs of eyes looking at everything that we do and micromanaging everything that we do." So he was less than excited about it. Great. Next item is just simply an informational item, the Plan RVA newsletter, TAC member comments. Anybody else have anything to share for the good of the order? Okay, next meeting is July 9th, 9 a.m. So we now stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Good